Good morning. Happy Transfer Tuesday. I'm so excited to be doing a Transfer Tuesday. It feels like it's at least been a month, probably closer to 2 months since I've done one because, as y'all know, moving just completely threw me off my game. I'm very much like a creature of habit, routine, schedule, and changing that throws me for a loop every time. And this has been, of course, an exceptionally challenging transition just because this apartment is not the dream. Also, I know I look like a crazy person right now because I am. Last night was this morning was day 3 of supposed to be on a boat. And it keeps not happening. It was supposed to be leaving just after midnight. They wanted to sail last night. I left them a voicemail yesterday evening at 6 p.m. The captain, who I assume is the captain, they didn't get back to me. So in that case, you just kind of assume they're going anyway. Since they wanted to leave at midnight, I got up at 11 to get down to the dock. By got up, I mean I laid down and rested for a couple hours. I don't think I fell asleep though. I got to the dock. I did not see the boat anywhere. So I was like, oh man, here we go. And I texted them a quarter after midnight when they wanted to leave, and I was like, don't see you here. But of course, Gloucester is kind of interesting because there's several different docks. It's not like one town, one central town dock, just because of the coastline here. So I just texted him, was like, I'm at this dock where you normally would be, but I'm here, I'm ready to go. Just let me know what dock you're at and I'll come meet you there in just a couple minutes. But they didn't get back to me. So I waited until 2 a.m. and came home. I'm 4 minutes from the dock. It's not like it's a big deal. But he finally texted me back at 3 a.m. and just said, oh, trip was canceled. Yep, kind of figured. But that's okay. All is not lost. Even though that's day 3 in a row of getting skunked and no trip, no work. It's apparently still $100 for the day, for any day that you spent actively sitting, waiting at the dock, expecting a trip. Getting paid for the first time, I guess. Because I still haven't got paid for training yet. I need to enter my hours today, actually. Anyway, who cares? Let's talk about the really important things, and that is my financial path moving forward. Moving is quite a drain on finances, so I need and want to start rebuilding my sinking funds. I'm very fortunate in that all of the financial layers of buffering myself against job loss or anything. So even though I haven't been getting paid for any W-2 work since January 18th or whatever it was, and I hung out on unemployment for a few months, and now I have this job, which I was in training for 2.5 weeks, that I do get paid for at half of my normal C-day rate per day. So I will get that pay eventually, but obviously that's a pretty good gap to not have W-2 income, although I'm super grateful for the unemployment system. It didn't keep me from going backwards, but it kept me from going backwards in any really significant way. So I'm so thankful for the unemployment system. Even though it's a pain and it's not enough money to live on, it still was insanely helpful for me. So despite moving, and I actually have my moving costs more or less, I'm just talking about the big numbers. Obviously there's minute charges and things that come along with moving, moving your electricity and your cable and our internet, whatever. Things come up in moving. You're generally, at least I tend to be eating out more just because things are packed and your life is hectic, right? So that whole time frame is just a bit more expensive in general, but just talking big number wise, Just to recap the price of the move, just because I have not really done that yet. Rough estimates here. To move in for Massachusetts, it's first month security deposit, which is generally equal to first month, and plus for this unit, there was a broker fee of half a month's rent. So $3,000 for first month and security deposit. So that was May and security deposit. $750 for the broker fee. Plus I moved in early in April and I paid $600 for like prorated partial month of April. And then the movers, those cost me right around $1,200. So that's $5,550. That's a big chunk to move. Luckily, a couple weeks ago, got the security deposit back from my old apartment, which was $1,995. So it brought like the out-of-pocket cost of moving down to $3,555 roughly. Again, those are just like big numbers. I have not been really diligently tracking every penny. You guys know I've been like exhausted on that kind of deal for several months when it comes to finances. Like my head was just so in the game with money, and like it was just ruling my life, and I'm just trying to have more balance. So we're just gonna ballpark things. Either way, 3,500 plus, give or take, was quite a big drain on my savings, of course. But I'm so thankful because despite all of that, the few months on unemployment and the like a month and a half now that I've been here and like not really like full on working yet, so don't have like my full picture of what my finances are going to be going forward. But I'm going to try my best. Through this whole time, I have not had to dip into my emergency fund. And that's because I really leaned heavily into my sinking funds. If you guys are new here, I have a 12-month emergency fund that is set aside. And I also, on top of that, had 3 separate sinking funds, each of $2,000. So I had like a car, vet, and medical sinking fund. What were the other ones? How out of touch with my finances I have been. Just like life just imploded and I just I'm sorry. Right. So $2,000 in a car, vet, and medical sinking fund, and then I just forgot again. My annual expenses sinking fund of $2,000, and then I had a $2,000 sinking fund for fun. Cuz life can't be all serious. So in the move, I've drained 2 of those. So the big ticket items cost me about $3,500. But like I said, all the extraneous trips, the driving, and after I moved in, I realized the space is not as big as I thought it was going to be. And I had to like make extra trips up to Maine to take more things to my parents' house to put in storage. There's just been a lot of additional back and forth and traveling to and from training down on the Cape and running back on the weekends to check on the cats. So it's been a lot of up in the air. And I've been very much feeling scattered because, as you guys know, I'm very like budgeted and routine, and so to be away from that has been like I feel very like out of control. Not really, like I'm not out just blowing money, I'm not out of control in that way, but just not having as close of an eye on it as I normally do has just been a little bit So I'm definitely excited to get back in it. I want to rebuild my sinking funds. I drained about $4,000 of that $6,000 sinking fund balance. Having that and not having to go into my emergency fund has been wildly comforting. Just knowing that despite job loss and a few months on unemployment and moving and getting myself reoriented to a new job, a new apartment, a new place, and not having to even dip into my emergency fund that is specifically there to like bolster me during those kind of life speed bumps, has just been so amazing. Like, I'm so thankful every day for the past versions of me that like busted my hump to save up that money, which I know I'm getting talkative again about all this, but like I have not been talking about money lately, but I've been having a lot of feels and thoughts about it. I'm just so grateful for the layers of buffer that I've added between myself and like, I don't know, I've gotten a lot of videos, or I've gotten a lot of comments on my videos lately about just be thankful you're not homeless, and like 100% thankful every day I am not homeless. Absolutely. I don't mean to ever come across that I'm not grateful to have a roof over my head, food in my belly. Yes, absolutely. But also, I'm incredibly grateful to past me that busted my hump to make sure I'm as far removed from the possibility of homelessness as I possibly can be. And just being able to go through these life transitions and not even touch my emergency fund has been like, I don't know, probably the biggest peace of mind I have ever felt about anything. And I've told you guys that. Even back when I got that emergency fund completed and just knowing I had that comfort level. And this was, I don't know, a year ago, maybe? No, more than that. I don't know. Ever since I've had my emergency fund, it's just like it taken financial strain out of my life, which has been there since I was 18. So like that shit's been deeply rooted. And man, an emergency fund just makes every day so much easier, so much better, so much more comfortable. And just wow, like I'm sorry if I'm oversharing about this. This whole situation has just been incredibly eye-opening on how powerful an emergency fund is and like getting yourself to that point. And so I'll stop blabbing about it. But Transfer Tuesday is here. So what I want to do going forward is, of course, first and foremost, rebuild my sinking funds. I don't know at what rate. I don't even know what like my normal monthly budget is going to be looking like, considering I'm having a really hard time getting work. Okay, it's only been like 4 days, but 4 days of being skunked by work has been like, okay, well, this kind of stinks. And things are just gonna be up in the air for a couple months just because I can't get into my full swing of working my 12C days a month that I was very adamant about keeping my work level at when I took the job, just because in this training phase, you have to do 4 certification trips. After each of these 4 trips, I can't go on a boat again until my data has been completely reviewed. I've had phone calls with my data editor and we're on the same page and my information is uploaded correctly. I did everything correctly out at sea and everything looks good and they can trust my data. And then it gets like shared to the system. So like they try their best to do that really quickly just because all of this data that we're sharing is like real-time catch data for the fishing industry. So it's incredibly important, and it's incredibly important that it's accurate and timely. But until I go through my first 4 certification trips and my data editor feels that I'm okay, she knows what she's doing out there, we can trust her data and we can work through the kinks if I upload things incorrectly or fat finger something when I'm entering my data, we'll work through all of that. So I have to go through that full brief before I can go back at sea just during the certification process. So it kind of slows me down from getting, I can't do like back-to-back trips to like get my sea days and make more money until after these first 4 trips. So hopefully we'll get one here tomorrow. Tomorrow should be the day. I've already got another boat assignment and it's really early in the morning still, so wow, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much again because I've missed you guys and I've missed Transfer Tuesdays and talking about money. So I have received some support over the last month. So let's start in with the transfers from the last month. I'm sorry, it's been so long. I appreciate you guys so freaking much just for being here. Back on the 13th, I got a PayPal notification that Mark had sent me $50. He was just offering words of comfort and said things will settle down eventually and you're doing amazing and we've all missed you. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate that. That was definitely like mid not okay time. That was like, y'all, it was a rough few weeks there, as we know. And then on the 20th, I got 2 Venmo notifications. One from Amy, and Amy sent me $15. She said, treat yourself to some snacks, love your videos, and thank you for sharing. Loud and clear, thank you. I've been getting a lot of snacks. There is a wonderful Italian bakery, like 7-minute walk away, so it's a little dangerous, but thank you, Amy. I'm definitely gonna get some snacks. And then also on the 20th, Carol, you're so sweet. She said, thank you for persevering and sharing, a gift to you from us. And she sent me $100. Thank you so much, Carol, Mark, Amy. You guys are so lovely. I appreciate you so much. What I'm going to do with that support is, of course, start rebuilding my sinking funds. Except for the $15 from Amy. She specifically said get some treats. So, yes. But I'm going to put the $150 from Carol and Mark into my sinking funds. So, of the $4,000, we'll get the party started with $150. That is so amazing. And, you know, we're off to a great start. And, of course, like, I wildly appreciate anyone who even just shows up to hang out, watch, see what I'm up to, which has been chaos lately, so thank you for hanging with me. Going forward though, I am gonna do a June budget here in a few days just to prepare. Where are we at? It's the 28th. Yeah, I should probably do that. I don't know what my income's gonna be for June. Like I said, like I can theorize what it'll be in the future once I am out of this like certification phase and can get 12 C days a month, but we're gonna hope for the best. And so I'm just gonna make a budget based on hopefully 12 C days. And today I am going to search for health insurance on the marketplace. I started the process, but they like needed to verify my identity, so I had to upload some documents. So I'm just waiting for them to validate my identity so that I can choose health insurance. I did get documents from my employer sponsored health coverage that I had through Cobra with my last job. I am able to keep that if I want. So they sent me like all the info packet and what it would cost out of pocket to carry on this coverage on my own, as it will obviously not be employer sponsored health coverage anymore. And in case anyone's wondering, my new employer does not offer health insurance coverage. That's on me going forward. But to keep my old coverage, $862.50 a month. I was just like, what? I'm hopeful that the marketplace won't be that expensive, but I was just like, are you joking? I even called just to like get a real person to validate these numbers for me. Come on. Who can afford that? Like, health insurance is the one scary freaking thing that just terrifies me to death, because in this country with our, no offense, shitty ass healthcare system, like one bad medical thing could just completely bankrupt you, and that's so scary. That's terrifying. So this is the first time in my life I've ever not had employer sponsored healthcare cover, since I moved out of my parents' house. So being on the hook for healthcare scares the shit out of me. Scared to death to see what even the cheapest of the cheap coverage is going to cost me every month. But I guess it's a good preparation for reality and thinking I want to retire one day and like be on my own for health insurance. If I want to know what that's like, I guess this will be the introduction to that. I think it's supposed to be kind of income-based from what some of you have told me and from what I'm researching, but I'm just panicked that it's going to be like $400 or $500 a month for absolute garbage coverage, even with that expensive-ass shit. I always got an extra bill later in the mail from some other, the pathology office or some bullshit. You pay an arm and a leg for something and then you still have to pay more on top of that. So it's just infuriating. I hate the healthcare system in this country. And I know other countries are just as bad or worse. But anyway, speaking of planning to retire early someday, You guys, I have been having all of the thoughts lately about that whole situation. There's gonna be a video coming about it in a few days, I'm thinking, but I'm just like totally changing my whole life view on the FIRE movement and trying to hit financial independence and early retirement, and like how freaking hard it's been and how it feels a little bit more impossible every single day, with cost of housing, cost of food, cost of existing as a human. It just makes any kind of like financial independence feel a little bit more unattainable. And as discouraging that as that can be, like, I'm trying to remain optimistic, but also like I'm having a lot of wild realizations about all of that scene and my financial future and what I want out of life, and kind of changing all of that. So I want to talk about it more thoroughly, as well as the June budget. Like, let's get back on the budget train. So if you're interested in that at all, I'll be talking about that soon, just because it's occupying a lot of my thoughts lately, and it's kind of wild, kind of cool, kind of making me feel better about life. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments what money moves you guys made towards your financial future, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.